I met with a lot of different producers. I basically, before I decided who to work with for this album, I wanted to just go around and meet everybody in the whole business. There were some really, really interesting meetings that I had. I worked with people who I felt really good about working with, people who brought a positive attitude into the studio and people that knew how to have fun with the music. That was my only rule for this record, was that it had to be fun. Reach Out Richard, it was by far the hardest song that I've ever had to write. I gotta thank Pharrell Williams for pushing me to get the whole story out. And that was a toughie for me. It's a very emotional story about what Richard is my dad. I don't want to get into all the details of it, but I still tear up thinking about that song sometimes. It's a tough one. And it was so close to me that I didn't know if I even could put it on the album. And Pharrell called me every day and said, you have to put that song on the album. You have to put Reach Out Richard on the album. I caved and put it on, and I'm glad I did. Pharrell is a very visual person too. He's an extremely, what I call, visionistic person. He had this vision for me of being like this stadium rock artist, and he was always talking about how he pictured me rocking stadiums and my fans would be out in the lawn seats drinking Bud Light and smoking a joint. And it was something that I didn't necessarily 100% agree with, but it was really fun to just sort of picture that and play with. Her favorite song is a story about a girl who's having a really tough time with men. It's probably the simplest story on the record. It's really just something that I think everybody goes through at some point. Just feeling frustrated with the opposite sex, just needing something to get away from that frustration. I've always been a big fan of Jessie Ware. I like her because she does her own thing and she does it very confidently. I think that's sort of rare these days. She really has a unique thing that she does, and she doesn't care what anybody else thinks about it. This album is very different from my previous two records. It's not just a little different, it's a lot different. Some people are not gonna like that. Some of my old, fans that have been following me. Sorry guys. It's gotta evolve though. The sound has gotta grow and evolve and change and move forward. I can never, even if I wanted to, I could never go back and do another Estranged arrangement. It would be impossible at this point. There's a lot of Steely Dan in the new record for sure. I wanted to do Steely Dan but make it sexy. I definitely kind of went back to my hip-hop roots. A lot of people don't know that I was a hip-hop DJ for many years before I started singing. I sort of went back to my roots on it and incorporated a lot of hip-hop into this record. A lot of banging hip-hop drums. There's 808s, there's drum machines, and I did all the record scratches on the album. So it's sort of Steely Dan meets the Beastie Boys.